kind of growing up in Houston, being around that Aggie Longhorn rivalry, kind of growing up in that, it was. I didn't really, honestly, I didn't know much about it until I went to A&M. But kind of like I said, growing up, I would always see the A&M shirts and the A&M jerseys, and the 12th man. I would hear things about it, so I was always interested about it. And kind of when I took my visit for it, and I saw the camaraderie and just the people, how welcoming they were, and how special that place was. That was it was a no-brainer in the decision.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of To The Show We Go Baseball Podcast. Today's episode, we're not doing the pitching side of things today. I know we've had a lot of Red Sox pitching prospects on lately, but we're showing some love to the position players out there. So it's our second one we've actually done. We had Justin Reamer. I guess we had Will Turner on as well, so I guess it's number 3. But today we have Stanley Tucker. Now, Stanley he played 2024 in Salem. He was a member of the Red Sox 2023 draft class that we have featured quite a few of the pitchers on this offseason. But Stanley, I know you're not down at the complex right now, but you're back home. How's the offseason been treating you?
Off-season's been good. Been getting a lot of good workouts in early in the off-season, and kind of just coming into my second off-season, just kind of already have the blueprint now and what I want to do, and kind of what I want to get better at going into the next few seasons. So this offseason has started out pretty well so far.
I'm going to ask you some things about the season down here in a bit, but I did want to ask, obviously, you just came off of your first full pro season as being a professional, and now you're back home for what I would assume would be the first time since before spring training started,
Right.
In 2024. How has it felt just being back at home, seeing family for the first time in a long time, and just being around your support group for the first time in so long?
It's been good, man. It's been a blessing, really. Being away from them so long, that's kind of the first time I've been away for that long. Um, but being able to be back home and being around the support group, like you said, is really just a blessing, because no matter how far I am, no matter how long I'm gone, we're always on the phone, or always checking in, and it's kind of like you miss them, but you love what you're doing at the same time. So just being able to get back and getting around the people who support me the most is a blessing.
So you're back home in the Houston area for a bit now, obviously for probably the holidays and everything before you start heading the way towards Florida. What's in store for you this offseason? Like, what kind of things are you are you going to be like working on? What are you focusing on, I guess, early in the offseason?
Man, early in the off season is really just getting stronger and kind of putting myself in a position to be able to uh, perform all season. It's a long season, and just it was kind of different going into it. Just like I said, long season, first season. So I kind of got to see it now. And this off season, I really just wanted to put my body in a good position to last an entire season, to last and, like I said, perform at a high level for 142 games. So I think going in at the beginning, it was kind of recover from the season, and then now it's okay. Let's kind of condition yourself to be able to play a healthy full season.
What kind of what kind of things stuck out to you this year? Obviously, you're talking about like the season's a grind. This is the
It is.
most games you've ever played in your entire career, obviously through college, and so this year was I think probably the longest year for you. I'd say would be
Right.
safe. So what kind of things surprised you a little bit of like, okay, like I didn't realize, I didn't realize this about pro ball or whatever it was.
Right. So coming into pro ball, you kind of know you play every single night. You have games every night, but I think you don't really actually get that feeling until you're into the season, and you're month 2, 3 into the season, and you have to be able to take the good, take the bad, and flush it really, really quick, because you have a game the next day. And so I think that was the biggest wake up call, was you're not just playing series every weekend. You're playing a game every night. And Monday is the only off day. So think being able to mentally reset, mentally be able to, like I said, take the good from the night before, take the bad from the night before, learn from it, flush it, and be ready to be to be ready the next night. I think that was the biggest thing for me.
I did want to. I'm switching gears here. I
Hmm.
know you preluded to this earlier, but you're back home. You said you got to see your little brother, and you're kind of seeing your family. I read that I think you have another sibling that was an All-American in softball. And
She is
so is there some sort of like does she bring out the competitive edge in you a little bit? And I don't know if she's
always.
home right now, but
She
what's that
does.
like? I guess.
Man, always. My sister, it's always me and my sister were 17 months apart. So growing up, it was always us. And growing up in an athletic family, I mean, it was just competition every day. And then especially with my sister, it was we pushed each other to be the best that we can be, and she's at Southeastern Louisiana right now, gearing up for her senior season, and she's had a pretty remarkable collegiate career so far. And I mean, it's just pretty much a testament to our competition, how much we push each other, how much she pushes me to be the best, so we look at each other's stuff. We're our biggest congratulators, our biggest supporters, but at the same time we are our biggest competitors. So I'm proud of her, and she's pretty remarkable in what she does.
How much you don't have to tell her this, or I don't know if she's going to listen to this, but how much credit would you give her for you being drafted?
I would give her a lot of credit, pretty much a
Okay.
lot of credit, because it's those ones that believe in you. My family believes in me. And then, there's people out there that'll believe in you. There's also people out there who doesn't. But, that was one person where I just kind of went to work with. It was never, you can't do this. You won't be able to do this. It's like, hey, no, if you want to do this, let's do it. And we're going to push each other to be better every single day. It wasn't a day where I came home and my sister was like, hey, like maybe you should think of doing something else. It was no, hey, I know this is what you want to do, this is what I want to do, so let's go do it. And of course it was some days where you'll come home, you'll be too tired to do stuff, or you'll be like, man, I'm not feeling it today. And then that's when she hits the door and it's like, no, we're going to do it. And then some days I hit the door and say, hey, no, get up, let's go do it. So having her in my corner this entire time was really a blessing. And it's really, I can't say much more about her. She pushed me to be the best that I can be, no doubt.
I know that I know Salem, Virginia is not the easiest location for people to get to, especially with with your family being down in
Right.
Texas and obviously your sister off at school. But did they ever have any chances to go out and see you, or was Salem ever close to where they were, or did any what was the
Right.
support like?
So it was never really close, but
Yeah.
they actually made a trip to come out. They made well, my dad, he actually came out by himself the opening weekend. He wanted to come to opening weekend, so he came to the first three games in Salem, and then after that, my mom, my little brother, and my sister, they made a trip out kind of later on in the year. And they came out for a Thursday through Sunday, and we had a blast. It was good having them in the stands. Growing up, my parents never missed a game, and so now this is kind of different for them and for me as well. Is they are it's kind of far, but for them to be able to come into the building and be at the stadium, be there, look up in the stands, and see my family there, it was good.
Did it give you any extra I don't know if I would say motivation, but did it give you at least a
Right.
little something a little extra knowing that they were
Yeah,
there for that series or whatever?
of course, of course. I got my mom in the stands cheering for me. I know my mom's my biggest critic at sometimes, so I wanted to go out, of course, do something big for my mom. She's in the place, but I mean that motivation is there every single night. So uh, that fire that I have to play the game, it show I wanted to show every single night I play, whether they're in the building or not. But it was just a special feeling that they were there to witness it.
Jamie, I'm sorry I was hogging you. I'll let you get in here.
No, you're good. As going back to your college days, when you transferred from New Mexico Junior College to Texas A&M, why was the Aggies the place you wanted to be?
For one, it was closer to home. I wanted to get back to that support system, get closer to them, and for two, just kind of growing up in Houston, being around that Aggie Longhorn rivalry, kind of growing up in that, it was. I didn't really, honestly, I didn't know much about it until I went to A&M, but kind of like I said, growing up, I would always see the A&M shirts and then the A&M jerseys and the 12th man. I would hear things about it, so I was always interested about it. And uh, kind of when I took my visit for it, and I saw the camaraderie and just the people, how welcoming they were, and how special that place was. That was it was a no brainer in the decision.
Was that a surreal moment for you, just growing up around that, and then kind of wearing that uniform and getting to be part of it?
Yes, yes, yes. It was surreal, especially have family who grew up, watching SEC baseball and SEC sports. So I think that was kind of the surreal moment to be able to wear that SEC patch on my jersey. My grandpa was watching at home. He loves SEC sports, and uh, I think that was a surreal moment.
Were they all A&M fans? Were there some Longhorn fans mixed in too?
Actually, no. Growing up, my family. So I was born in Mississippi, and so my family was. My dad was a big Mississippi State fan, and so I grew up watching Mississippi State, watching that maroon. So just being able to come back, we always kind of made the joke. It's like, hey, I'm still in maroon. So it was good.
Yeah. Also, how did your time, with Texas A&M put you in a position to be drafted? And how do you think they just helped you improve your game that year?
And it kind of introduced me to a different side of the game. It sped up. It really did. It's really good competition into the SEC, and then just coming into pro ball. Pro ball is hard. And that was kind of that wake up call. Like, hey, if this is what you want to do, this is what you're gonna have to compete against. This is what you're gonna have to play. And so, I just think going into that, of course, it's the same game, but at the same time, it did speed up, and so I had to adjust in, and coming into pro ball, it put me in the best position to be able to adjust to pro ball. So it was good.
I feel like your college path was so interesting to me because I was kind of reading up on it, and
Hmm.
it says you had planned to play at New Mexico Junior College, but then
Hmm.
transferred to Wharton because New Mexico wasn't going to play in the season due to
Right.
COVID. And so you transferred back to New Mexico for your sophomore season, then transferred to A&M for junior
I
year.
did.
What I guess was that as much of a roller coaster as it sounds like? I mean, it's
Huge roller coaster.
being in three
Huge
different
roller
spots.
coaster. Three different spots, and I mean, it all started that senior season in high school with COVID. Once you go show up to the baseball field one day and they say no baseball, and so it's like, okay. And then I was gonna go to New Mexico, and I went to New Mexico, spent the entire fall there, and uh, you walk into the field again, and they say, hey, no spring season. And so now it's kind of like that drive on, what do you want, what do you want to do? Is this something that you really want to do? How bad do you want it? And so kind of was offered some options, and was very blessed with the opportunity that Coach Porras gave me the opportunity to come to Wharton to play. And um, I was super grateful, super blessed for that opportunity. And kind of after that, I wanted to finish what I started in New Mexico, so I went back there and kind of opened some doors for pretty much now what I have in the future. So it was a roller coaster, it really was. But in all things, I give thanks to the man on high, and he kind of put me through all those situations to make me stronger and make me into the man that I am today. So.
Did you ever have time when you were at Texas A&M to just kind of look back? You were just talking earlier about
Hmm.
how playing in the SEC, it's incredible. It's probably I'm going to say it's the best baseball conference out there. I know the ACC is good too, but SEC always has champions coming out of that conference.
Right.
So, did you ever get a chance though to kind of like look back once you did make it to A&M, and you were kind of like, okay, like 2 years ago, like I was at a college and they didn't even have, they weren't even going to play that year. So I had no idea what I was
Right.
about to do. And I ended up playing for a powerhouse in the SEC. Like, did you get a chance to like kind of like soak that in a little
Right.
bit?
I did. Every now and then I like to sit back and just look at how far you came. I think that's something that I didn't do really early on in my career. And, the drive is to just continue to keep going, to continue to progress, to continue to reach heights that you didn't imagine that you can get to. But at the same time, it's also good to kind of look back on what you've accomplished, what got you here today, like I said, what you've been through and what you already accomplished. So sometimes I really do like to sit back and just look at like, hey, this is where you were 2 years ago, and this is what you're saying you were gonna get to, and now you're here. And so that doesn't mean stop. That doesn't mean that it's gonna get easier. That doesn't mean that it's just gonna continue to get to just nobody's gonna hand you anything. You have to work. And so yeah, I look at those accomplishments, but then it also kind of reinforces that driving me to continue to keep going, to see how far can I really go. So
That leads me towards this year, and obviously it was your first full year. You spent it
right.
all in Salem. What kind of things did you learn about your game this year after playing in Salem all year?
Man, I learned a lot. It really was an identity for me to really learn what would my identity be in the role that I'm playing. It's easy to go into the game and have these goals and want to be somebody you're not, and it can affect you in positive ways and it can affect you in negative ways. But I think it was really my first full season was a true finding my identity in the game and finding an identity in myself, just to play my game and to be me, and what can I bring to the team that could help the team every single night, whether it's um, playing this game at third base or playing this game at second base, playing this game at center field, right? Kind of embracing the role that you have placed in front of you and being the best version of yourself to help the team in every single night. And kind of took a role to get there, some ups and downs, but really getting to the back half of the season, I started to find that identity. And I'm kind of just excited to go into year two and just continue to grow and continue to bring whatever Stanley Tucker can bring every single night to the organization wherever I'm at.
Because it was being more aggressive on the base pass kind of a point of emphasis for you, because I saw in college your career high for stolen base was
Hmm.
15. Last year you had 23, which is a pretty good jump,
Hmm.
especially for your first season in Salem.
Right, right. Yeah, it was an emphasis. I'm pretty fast guy. I can run a little bit, so I kind of wanted to just come out and test the waters a little bit. Base running rule changes in pro ball kind of went into place last year, maybe the year before too. So it was kind of diving into uh, that world too, like what can I do to kind of, you're always looking for an advantage on the baseball field. So it was kind of diving into just being more aggressive. I know I was passive, kind of like you said years before, but um, I know my legs are very valuable, and so if that's another aspect that I can bring to the team to help, then run bases. And how can I be better in running bases if you don't really test the waters, if you don't try to be aggressive? And so it was some learning, some learning in there, some caught stealing, some bad decisions, but that's all in it, and overall now you get a baseline of what you can do, what you can't do, what it looks like with this. So when you get put in different situations in the game, is kind of, it just comes natural then.
Did our favorite British manager always give you the green light whenever you got on the first? Was he always
He
like, you know
did.
what, I trust you?
He did. From day one, it was that green light, and it was like, hey, don't be afraid. Just go. You're blessed with some speed, so let's use it. And uh, I was thankful for that. And no matter how many, like I said, no matter how many times I did mess up or did get a caught stealing here or there, it was, hey, what did you see? What did you feel? Okay, let's probably not try that again, but let's not stop running. So that was a big help.
So I'd actually spoken with one of your teammates this past year, our guy Big Tex, Trent O'Donnell, about this
Mm-hmm.
too. And I'm curious, like from your position, since you were a position player, but it is weird to say that you were one of the older position players on the team, and
Mm-hmm.
you had just turned 22 at the beginning of the year,
Right.
a ripe old age of 22.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of obviously you shared a field with guys like Nazan and Antonio and a
Mm-hmm.
few and a few other guys that are a little younger than you. Did you take on like any sort of like take those kind of guys under your wings? Maybe the guys that were just fresh out of high school and those
Mm-hmm.
they were a lot younger than you. What was that like? I guess just being like a guy for them to look up to.
Right, right. You have guys like you said, Nas Antonio come in at very young, and I wouldn't just say I came in with the thought of, oh, I'm gonna take them under my wing, because I didn't. I really just kind of just showed up every day and just wanted to be that guy that they could approach with anything. I've seen more baseball than they have, on a different level, but it was never really like I kind of wanted to force any knowledge on them or anything like that. But just wanted to be that guy that they had no fear, no hesitation to just come and ask any questions that we had, because even at the same time, I know I had seen a lot more baseball, but we were all learning at the same time as well. So but I do feel that you kind of did take that. I did take that role of being a veteran. My nickname in the team was Unk because I was a little bit older. But those guys are special, and being able to just push each other every single day. That's big in any clubhouse and on any team, and I think that's pretty much what we did. It wasn't a hey, this that. It was a, what can we do to be better today? What did I do yesterday that I could be better today? And then we pushed each other every single day, because, like I said, we pretty much spent the entire year together. So uh, it was it was fun being in there, being kind of like the older guy, but at the same time, I think we learned from each other throughout the year.
What I did want to ask about another one of your teammates that we kind of saw excel quite a bit in the outfield there in
Hmm.
Salem was Nelly Taylor,
Yeah.
and then he went on to Greenville and was doing his thing, and and he won an award for his defensive
Hmm.
abilities at the end of the season. But what was it like, I guess, getting to watch Nelly down there in Salem and just kind of see what he did?
Oh man, he's gifted. He's gifted. He really is. He's a sight to see. Um, he plays hard every single night. You're gonna get the same Nelly Taylor, and he made some remarkable plays. Some plays that you like, man, I don't know if anybody else could make that play. So, uh, but just having players like that to, like I said, push you. I mean, me and Nelly, we pushed each other every single day, whether it was playing cards in the locker room or going out and doing during BP, just taking BP reads. That kind of a push you get from a player like that is what a elevate your game to the next level, your game and his game. And you can kind of see how he went out and just pretty much excelled all year in what he does. And it's not trying to do more, trying to do anything less. It's just going out there and being himself. And himself is a high flying spark plug that you get out of Nelly Taylor. So it was, like I said, playing with players like that is it's a blessing too, because you just push each other.
How would you say you've grown as a player just from the time you were drafted to now after having some time in
Mhm.
the system? We talked about base and being a leader, but how do you would say you've developed over the last year?
The development for me over the last year, I would just say mentally, just being a pro. I know you hear that a lot, but it's really been a step that I feel like I have taken over the last year, where you kind of have that rookie season, that first season where you're testing the water, you want to do this, do that. But I think it's a lot of maturity that goes into each year you play in this league. And it's hard, it's fun, but you also have to mature in the game. You have to mature in yourself, and you have to mature in your abilities as well. Everyone is talented, everyone is gifted, but it's that maturity level in your, like I said, your abilities, your gifts, and the way you think the game, thinking the game different, seeing the game different. being able to slow the game down at certain moments and big moments. I think that has been a big development for me. Is just overall maturity.
All right, Jamie, if you don't have anything else, I'm going to switch gears here. We're going to go a little off the field now.
Yes.
Try to get to know Stanley Tucker off the
Mhm.
field for this little portion here. I've never been to Salem. I've been to every other affiliate, just never been to Salem. I haven't made it out there yet. Jamie, I don't know if you've made it out to Salem yet either.
Not yet. No, just
Um,
through pictures.
Okay, so what did you like to do? I guess in your free time, like I know every Monday you had off. So like, what did you do whenever you weren't at the baseball field?
Right. So I ventured into the town. I kind of made it a point to. I really wanted to know Salem. I had never been in that part of the area. So anytime, like, my girlfriend would come in town or my family would come in town, I went in and ate it all. I think I ate at every single breakfast spot downtown. I went to different museums. Just kind of, I wanted to explore the town. I found a little small zoo that was just up in the mountains somewhere that I went to and just walk around and kind of just get out. I know I'm a gamer as well, so I know at any chance I get out, play video games as long as the clock will allow. So I would force myself pretty much to just get out. And I picked up golf a little bit, played golf a couple times with the pitchers. I know the pitchers are big golfers, so that I went out with them and had a good time with them a couple times. But I think the biggest thing I just did was just like to get out, just to enjoy that side of the U.S. because I had never been there before, and I didn't want to leave without knowing everything about Salem, Virginia.
Yeah, I it's kind of funny you said that too about the pitchers all golfing.
Hmm.
I feel like every guy that we've had on from the system this offseason, it's like, man, I was either golfing on the off days or playing the college football that came
Right,
out, or now it's COD that's out in this off season. So it's like
right.
you're either golfing or playing COD is what I've
That's
learned. But
it.
it's good to hear though that at least you got out there and saw some other things. So that's too funny. Yeah, Matt Duffy was saying that's all he was doing was golfing and
Golfing.
doing.
Every day we walk in, they had a different golf story. And it's kind of funny. I went in, I said, "Man, y'all have all these golf stores and stuff. Do y'all really know how to play this and that? Come on out here." I had never played before. I'm like, "Yeah, I can golf." Didn't have my clubs, didn't have my own club, didn't have anything. Just showed up, and they said, "Tuck." I took one swing, and they said, "You've never been golfing before, have you?" I said, "Nope," but I'm out here. So it was pretty fun.
All right. Well, at least you went out and tried it, man. That's the
Yep,
thing, right? It's like at least you tried it. It's
that's it.
some people it's just like it's just fun to go right around the cart and hit a
Right.
couple shots. It's like I don't really
That's
care
it.
where my ball landed. Just let me hit a shot over here.
That was it.
Um, None of us are pros. All right. So what have you been watching anything good lately? I always like asking this question because one, it gives me some stuff to like maybe try to look at, but unless your name's Matt Duffy and doesn't have any streaming services at all, like what have you been watching
Hmm.
lately? Like what are shows are your favorite?
Right, right. Honestly, I haven't watched anything just super recent, but I know at the beginning of the off season, I watched this. I'm more of like I love comedians and comedy, and of course, one of my favorite comedians is Kevin Hart, and I know he has a show on Peacock called Fight Night, and it kind of just it talks about this story of this guy during one of the Ali fights back when he was fighting. So that was pretty funny. I watched that show, and then it's the show on Peacock called Bel Air. I watched that show at the beginning of the off season, but I don't really get stuck into shows a lot because I know I'm the type of person if I get stuck in a show, then I'll just watch it all night. So I'm big on movies though. I love movies. Me, my family, and I will watch movies all the time. So I pretty much feel like I've watched every single movie out there. I know that's probably it's not
Ooh.
that's not possible really, but I feel like I've watched every single one of them.
Well, you know what question's coming next. It's like I gotta know, like, what are some of your go-to movies? Like,
Go
if
to
somebody
movie.
asks you favorite movies, you can name like one or two. What would they be?
Favorite movies, I'ma always go with one. It's called All About the Benjamins. It's with Ice Cube and Mike Epps back in the day. Every single time I see that movie come on TV, or see come across that movie, I'm always watching that movie. I love it. But then I also have a side. I love cartoons. Like I love the Disney cartoons. I love like my little brother when he was a baby. His favorite movie was Frozen, and we watched Frozen 24/7. But kind of secretly, that was my favorite movie as well. I know every word to that movie, sing all the songs. But I would just say, hey, I'm just watching it for my little brother. He likes it, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had a like for it too. But I'm kind of all over the place. Superheroes. I actually just went back and watched all of the X-Men last week. I watched every single X-Men movie that was out there. So, uh, yeah, I'm kind of everywhere in movies, but one that I always come in mind, All About the Benjamins. And if you haven't checked it out, I would say you have to go watch that one.
Okay. It's on the list. I'm a big Ice Cube guy. I've always loved him, man. He's been spectacular since day one, man. It's
hmm
um Jamie, what do you got anything for like one-offs here?
Yeah, I got you. If you could, so what's your favorite minor league stadium, and what's the favorite minor league city or just city that you got to play in last year?
Oh, my favorite stadium last year, man. I really would say the Columbia Fireflies was really nice. Kind of just the area they were around in Columbia. I like that stadium. I like that feel. I liked everything that I love that road trip. But another good one too was Fayetteville. Fayetteville Woodpeckers. Their stadium was pretty new, pretty nice. I enjoyed that one too. So I would say it's out of Fayetteville and uh, Columbia for me.
Did you get to explore the area around those ballparks a lot?
I did Columbia. I did. I kind of walked through the town. I was down there, and it was pretty good. Fayetteville is really down there in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Really wasn't a lot around, but Columbia was nice. The surrounding area around that stadium was nice.
If you're going to the ballpark as a fan, what's your go-to food? What's like the first thing you're getting?
Hot dog and popcorn. Gotta have. You can't go wrong with a hot dog, and then popcorn. You can't go wrong with a good popcorn.
That's true. We're doing like plain hot dog, chili dog. Like what do we put on it?
I like a plain hot dog. I'm a mustard guy. I like mustard on a hot dog. I go plain. I get chili on it sometimes, but most of the time it's just hot dog with mustard. Can't go wrong.
You're this is halfway a food podcast because I have a lot of food questions and takes, but this is leading me into my question that your former teammate Max Carlson actually signed off on this question, saying that it tells a lot about somebody based on how they answer this. So
Right.
there's no pressure right here on this question I ask you.
Man, I feel a lot of pressure.
Okay, all right. So you got three of your fingers, right? Each of those fingers can distribute a sauce. And those three sauces are the only sauces you can ever have for the rest of your life. What three are
Oh
you choosing?
man. Oh man. Oh. Well, I gotta put ranch in there because I like salads and
It's
stuff
good,
like
man.
that. So you can't go wrong. You gotta have
It's
a ranch,
versatile.
man.
It's versatile.
Versatile. Ranch is versatile. You can eat it with pizza, ranch, whatever. Ranch is in there. Um. mm. Barbecue sauce is good because I like barbecue, and sometimes you barbecue sauce is pretty versatile. So ranch and barbecue sauce, but this last one, oof,
It's tough, man.
it's tough. Aside of one of the ketchup and mustards, but okay, I would go ketchup, but that's only because I can eat ketchup with a lot of things, and it's kind of weird when it comes to ketchup because say if I have a burger. I don't
Yep.
like ketchup on the burger. I like mustard, pickles, things
Hmm.
like that. I'm a mustard guy. But for some reason, I like ketchup if I dip the burger in ketchup. I don't like the ketchup on the bun, but if I dip the burger in the ketchup, I like the ketchup. It's always been weird for me since I
Interesting.
was a kid. So like, I mean, I would go ketchup because I'm thinking of tater tots and fries and all that stuff like chicken tenders. I can't just eat all that stuff dry, and I don't eat mustard on that stuff. So I think I'll go ketchup.
Yeah, it's a tough question, man, because you always, I asked that question to everybody, but then I thought I had my answer, but then it's just like, but then, my wife will be like, well, what about this? And it's like, oh, shoot. Like,
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, you got like, if it's like mayo, it's like, you're never gonna have mayo ever again in your life. Like, it's tough,
Mm.
right? But it's like, well, I don't know. It's a tough question, man. You'll be
It's
thinking
tough.
about that one.
It's tough.
I got one more food one left, actually, Jamie. I
Okay.
don't know if you have anything before I kind of ended on this food one.
It's also food too. Now that we're on the topic, but I could. Do you want to do your food one first?
No, you got it. I'll end it on mine.
So are you a barbecue person growing up in the South?
100%. Love barbecue. Me and my dad will get out and we'll barbecue pretty much anything. But kind of it took a step up because I was born, like I said, I was born in Mississippi, but moved around a lot because my dad was in the military. But every time we went around, go down to Mississippi, we'll have barbecue cookouts and things like that. But Texas barbecue is different. Down here, barbecue down here, everybody feels like they're in pitmaster competitions. So you're gonna have some good barbecue down here. And, uh, I love barbecue myself, so I love it.
Are you a ribs guy? Like chicken? What's your
Oh
go-to?
yeah. Oh yeah. Ribs, chicken, throw me some hot dogs on there. I like smoke. We'll smoke some stuff too, like smoked brisket and things like that. I even smoke chicken and stuff like that. But you can never go wrong with ribs, chicken. My mom, she's a big like ribette person, like the ribettes and stuff like that. So um, yeah, pretty much the basics. But that's it.
Yeah, I went to school in Kansas for a year, and I think that was probably the best barbecue.
In
Uh,
Kansas.
in Kansas City was the best barbecue I had.
Mm,
KC's known for it, yeah.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is an important question to me. Let's see.
It's more important than the sauces.
Yes.
I
This
had to think hard about that
And no,
this
no pressure with this one either.
I
one.
have a lot of faith in you because you're a man of the South. Obviously, that we're I grew up in St. Louis, which I guess
Gotcha.
not really the South. I don't know. I mean, we're in the SEC, Mizzou. I guess I don't know. Take it how it is. But we knew our chains, and specifically this question I ask you because I've asked every single person to come on this podcast because I'm trying to get a sponsorship for this one place because it's
Hmm.
near and dear to my heart. So let's see if you pick the right answer here. All right, so you're hungry for lunch one day, right? Today, you want specifically a chain, and it's got to be fast food fried chicken. It's got to either sandwiches,
Fast
strips,
food
something,
fried chicken.
something. And you have every single option available to your choosing. Where are you going?
Oh, every single option.
That you've ever had. It's got to have a drive-through. It's got to be fast food.
Drive through fast food, and I'm going for. Say I just want some fried chicken.
Yep.
I'm going to Popeyes.
Okay.
Going to Popeyes. It Louisiana styles chicken. Like I
Okay.
gotta go to Popeyes if I'm going to get fried chicken.
Okay. Could I interest you in a place called Zaxby's?
Zaxby's. Now see, I like Zaxby's. It's kind of the thing between. I know a lot of people. So when I first moved to Texas, the first place that I went to that I tried was Raising Cane's,
Yep.
and I fell in love with Raising Cane's. But I ate Cane's so much to where Raising Cane's just doesn't taste the same as that first time I ever tried it.
That's fair.
And so I would kind of put Zaxby's kind of fell into that because it's chicken tenders, and so it's kind of like I like the Zaxby's, and we actually had a Zaxby's right next to the place that we stayed, and so we ate Zaxby's a good amount. But uh, yeah, I mean I like Zaxby's, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the unofficial sponsor of the podcast. So that was the correct answer, but I'll accept Popeyes. It's all
Well,
good.
we'll put Zaxby's at number one so we can get that sponsor.
There we go. See, I like the way you think. I got Blaze Jordan doing a campaign for me. Him and Alex Pinellas are my Zaxby's guys in the system. So, but Stanley, we appreciate all the time you gave us, man. It was definitely a pleasure for you hopping on, and we're gonna be looking out for you once spring training rolls around. But thank you so much for hopping on.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank
Yeah.
y'all.